Hey everybody, today we're going to talk about electricity, which of course isn't the most sexy topic, but it's important in the game and in real life, of course. And the issue's gotten more important because of the developers' change in the commercial hub. As you remember before, we could get electricity every couple hours when the helicopter comes through. Now you have to wait a couple days to get electricity. You have to use resources to buy it. Not the best situation for everybody. I like it in some ways and I don't like it in others. So I won't get into that. What's done is done. But decided to methodically go through my base and figure out which buildings use electricity, which don't, and which buildings you can get away with disconnecting and which ones you can't. So we're just going to take a little tour. Your base is your base. You set it up the way you want to. I like to keep my essential buildings close to my base, the actual base. So we start off with the hospital. I always keep one there. I disconnected the rest of them, which I'll show you here in a minute. But when you're fighting or you need your hospital open so you can heal your troops. Just one. Same goes with the bank because I'm going to use my skill every day. Haven't done it yet. And also my wind turbine. I just threw that in there because there was a spot. And yeah, anyway, it's either that or a tree. I've got my power plants going with fuel. I'll get into why I have those going. Some people don't want to use their fuel. That's fine. If you don't use your fuel and you strictly get your electricity from those boxes, you can disconnect those power plants. But I keep mine going, and I'll show you why in a minute. Parts factory, of course, because I'm always making parts. Have to do that. Got to keep it connected. Resource buildings, of course, because you need to keep those resources coming in. So keep those connected. Your chip plants and your energy refining plants, those are nice because they don't use any electricity. So keep those connected. I recommend keeping them very close to your base. Um, your military intel building, class hall, and doomsday laboratory, they're all good to go. They use no electricity. Next little bunch of buildings up here are my war rooms. I just got this new specialty building, very nice. Excited about that. Your missile silos, all that good stuff. You can also keep those connected because they use no electricity at all as well. So let's just move from left to right here. Go to the warehouses. Now I did something a little different with the warehouses. I have my first two warehouses connected because I'm going to, the first warehouse only holds like 1 million or so resources. Your second one goes up fairly high, in the tens of millions. If I need more than that, I'm going to reconnect my level 3 warehouses, and I'll show you those in a minute. But I hope that makes sense. But yeah, so let's move on. Design building, I just threw that out there. That's another building that doesn't need any electricity, so that's just hanging out in the bottom there. Let's get some rewards here, maybe. Cool. All right, Oasis doesn't use any electricity. It's just there for show. So what I did beyond that, so that's my core, that little grouping right there. Now I made these little islands with roads around them. I've seen other people just keep the buildings completely separate with no roads around. I'll show you. This is what I'm going to do. When I don't need this, I'm just going to move this road away, and it disconnects. But what I decided to do is just put a road around it, make these little islands, so to speak. And over here, I want to keep my more essential buildings closest to my base. So I've got my ration truck there, my commercial hub, my market, which don't always use every day, but I threw that in there, and my military academy. I'm going to use that at least once a day because I'm going to exchange metals there. So there's my 4 kind of essential buildings, and I'll connect and reconnect that road when I need it. I've got my hospitals over here. I've got my bunks over here. There are my 3rd warehouses in that little island. And they're all connected because I wanted to show you right now, I am producing over 500,000 electricity an hour. I'm using 400,000 plus. So once I disconnect this road, I want you to see the difference. These roads, I should say. So then I got this little mismatch, hodgepodge of different buildings in the corner here. I did, just so you know, I did open these up. You can unlock more space for your building. I never really wanted to do that, but I decided I had to make this work. But I've got the Institute, which continues to work without electricity. Same thing with your management station. Same thing with the embassy. Now, when your embassy's going, your comrades need help. Above the menu arrow there, that'll be a little thing that you can push there. That's what I usually do anyway. So that's no effect there. And your Heroes Hall as well. I double check to make sure that you still get the same amount of experience with it connected or disconnected. It works that way. So along the way here, I've got my my barracks, and I'm getting closer to my base, so I kept my more essential pieces over here. I have this little guy just hanging out in the middle of nowhere. It's the headquarters. Just throwing that out there. I also have my banks there, which I'm going to disconnect here in a bit. But I did keep my fighting buildings close together. And that's my radar, my tower, my garrison hall, and my garrison. I think the garrison hall and the garrison would still work without any electricity, but I'm pretty sure, I haven't tested it out yet, but I'm pretty sure the radar and the tower would not, which you want both of those when you're in battle. So before I go out to fight, I'm going to reconnect that part. Last but not least, over here I have my camps and my command center. I had those just north of my base in this empty spot right here because I use, I train a lot of troops. So I decided to move that up there to keep it close. So I just wanted to touch, before I disconnect the roads and show you the results here, I just want to touch on the power plants. Like I say, some people don't want to use electricity because they are gas fuel to power those power plants, which is fine. I don't have that problem, and I'll show you why. I'm just going to go up to my fuel consumption. My troops are using way more than I produce because I have all my APCs loaded up, all that good stuff. Same thing with my food. So what's going to happen, it's happening right now, once it gets to 800,000, it just stops. So I have to either use that food or fuel, or I lose it. So when my commercial hub, or my ration truck, I should say, right now is full. Once that starts going down, I'll go ahead and just fill it up and use some of that 800,000 food that I have. I'll just do that right now just to demonstrate. You guys know the deal. Same thing with the power plants. So I would rather use that lost fuel to produce power than let it just go to waste. If you don't have that problem like I do, that's up to you how you want to do that. So just throwing that out there. All right, now here's the moment of truth. We're going to go up and we'll go from right to left this time. I'm just going to take this little nub and stick it around the corner. Just keep it out of the way, so to speak. There's that. Don't forget that little guy. Can stick, I'll just put that right there. Do what you want with it. All right. Exciting times here, folks. All right, I was at, and I just got to double check that I get them all. Oh, I forgot to tell you, these are all the buildings that I have no use for at all. A couple of, well, it's not going to let me show you, but that's my farmer, my Raider building. The clone lab, if I could shoot that thing into the depths of outer space, I would. If anybody's using cloning right now, please don't. It's a waste of resources. It's a waste of other people's resources. And the only thing that it's good for is to make the developers more money. VIP shop I don't use because I'm not a VIP apparently. Uh, my construction buildings, I used to be on the monthly thing, but I got off of that a long time ago. So those are just hanging out there. I just put those aside. Last one, don't want to double check real quick. Looks like all the buildings that are supposed to be connected are connected, and the ones that aren't are not. So let's see what we have here. 410 down to 220. I'm sure I could do better than that, but that's damn near 50%, or half, I should say, more than 50% less. So that's gonna, you know, all of a sudden, instead of making 100,000 electricity an hour, I'm making almost 300,000. And the reason why I want that electricity, obviously, other than just keeping my resources going, which, if nobody knows, if you don't have your electricity on, your resource production goes in the toilet. It's like 20% versus 100. But also, I want to upgrade eventually these energy refining plants, which are very expensive, a lot of electricity to upgrade. Just to get to level 15, I need 7.3 million electricity. So it's going to help me upgrade those and get those chips, which that's another video, but chips are extremely important to getting all the good stuff in the game for yourself. So I think that's pretty much it. If anybody has any questions, of course, feel free to ask. I really appreciate you listening and watching, and have a good day. Thank you.